and welcome back to Core 4 Adventures. If you're new here, I'm Laura.
And I'm Carol.
And today we're going to talk about cruise mistakes. When we first started cruising, we made a few mistakes that we want to share with you so that you don't make the same mistakes. And after all of these years of traveling, we've come up with some new tips that even the seasoned traveler may not know.
And if you find this video helpful in any way, we'd like you to like this video by giving it the thumbs up or subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing from us here at Core 4 Adventures.
And if you have any tips that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear it in the comment section below.
So first up are flight timing mistakes. You could either book your flight to come in on the day of embarkation, which we don't recommend, and then if you get a flight delay, you could miss your ship altogether. So we recommend that you fly in 1 to 2 days before your embarkation day so you can have a look around that home port and make it a little mini vacation.
We love doing that. We usually fly in at least 2 days ahead of time, and we really get to explore the destination that we're leaving from. So for example, we just got done on a Bermuda cruise and we spent 3 days ahead of time in New York City, where neither Carol nor I had ever been, and it was so much fun. It felt like a completely different vacation than the one that we went to in Bermuda, and it just enhanced it so much.
So the second part of that mistake is booking a flight to leave the destination city after your cruise too early in the morning. You want to give yourself a cushion. If you book an early morning flight on disembarkation day, you're going to have to get up really early. You may miss breakfast. You're scrambling to get off the ship, get your transfer to the airport. Maybe you have trouble getting a taxi or a bus. And then when you get to the airport, if you have any delays at all, like through the security line, you're at risk of missing your flight home. So give yourself an extra cushion. Book an afternoon flight on your disembarkation day.
I definitely would not fly out before noon. You could even miss out on some great things, like Seattle has a transfer program where as long as you're leaving after 12:30 p.m. for your flight, they will take your luggage straight to the airport and you're going to pick that up at your home airport when you get home, and you don't even have to deal with your luggage on the way home.
So booking your flight, be strategic about it both on the way there and on the way home.
So the next mistake we actually made early on in our cruising experience, and that's allowing the cruise line to book the flights for you. NCL often will have 2-for-1 flight deals, and we thought that was a great way to save money on a cruise that we did out of Seattle, but it completely backfired on us and we did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It ended up costing us more money. Why? Well, because we weren't able to fly out of our home airport here in the town that we live in. So we had to drive to a different town the night before, get a hotel, pay for parking and all of that stuff. And then we weren't able to even be on the same flight because we had 2 couples flying at the same time. One left at one time, one left at the other. But because we had 2 different cabins on the ship, they said that's the way it works.
And that meant we had to take 2 different cars and leave them at the airport parking and pay for that and those hotel rooms on the way there. And it definitely cost more than if we had just booked those out of our home airport and Ubered to the airport like we usually do.
Now, if you are just 2 people traveling together, not like us in a group, it may be to your advantage, especially if you live in a major city. We don't. We have a regional airport that we typically like to fly out of because we can just take an Uber to our airport. It's small, it's easy to fly out of, and we don't have to pay for airport parking then. It may work for you, but again, you have no control over whether they're booking you an early morning flight or a late evening flight or an overnight flight, and we just like to have a little bit more control.
And if you do decide that you are going to utilize that, make sure to put in early for a deviation so that you can go in a couple days ahead of time. The deviations that are allowed on NCL are 1 to 2 days before your flight or 1 to 2 days after your cruise, so that you have a little time in that host city like we just discussed.
So a lot of people will tell you that the earlier you book a cruise, most times you'll get the best rate. But did you also know that it is important to check into your cruise early and book those excursions, the shows, the specialty dining early as well?
Check with the cruise lines for when that check-in time is and hit it right on time. We recently, when we were checking in for our cruise to Bermuda, we're just about 8 hours late from the initial start time, and we had a hard time getting quite a few of the specialty dinings that we wanted, as well as the entertainment that we wanted. Now, if you do miss out on that, you can always do it on the first day as soon as you get on the ship. Don't wait. Go get in line. You can still get some of those things, but it's much easier if you could just get it right at check-in.
Yeah, set an alarm for yourself. We had it on our calendar, but we didn't set an alarm. I really wish we'd done that. Next cruise, we'll do that to make sure that we get the excursions and the specialty dining things that we want before they sell out.
Our next tip is definitely something that we struggle with ourselves, and that's overpacking. Don't forget, if you're going to change into an outfit for dinner, you could probably do that a couple of different nights for each outfit, so you don't have to bring as many things. You can wash in your sink and hang things up to dry, and take advantage of those midweek specials where they'll put a bag on your cruise cabin bed and you can fill that bag for one low price and get all of your laundry done, rewear everything, and not have to take but half as much.
And one of the things that we do to help us with our packing challenges is we do a packing spreadsheet where we outline what we're doing every day and what outfit each person is going to wear. We try to plan a chance to rewear outfits like Laura was talking about. If you've got an outfit that you're wearing out to dinner, you may only be wearing that for a couple hours, so you could rewear that later on in the trip just fine. So a packing spreadsheet may be a good hint for you if you suffer from overpacking like we do.
I love that packing spreadsheet, and the last few times I have gotten home and realized that I wore every single thing that I brought. I just, on a cruise, like to change my clothes a couple of times a day because I want to wear something different at night than I do during the day. So that's where that rewearing comes in.
Another mistake is not thinking about where your cruise cabin location is. The very first time we booked a cruise, we didn't realize that we were booking it directly underneath the gym. When we did, we called NCL and we got our room location changed because we didn't want to be woken up early in the morning with people dropping weights over our heads. So think about that. Think about where your cabin is in location to the spa, the gym, nightclubs, restaurants, things that are going to make a lot of noise. You're going to want to avoid those if you can.
And cruise cabins that have a balcony are great, but if you're not going to use it, save the money and pick an inside cabin. It's going to be quieter, and you're going to save a lot of money. So up next, let's talk about some embarkation day mistakes. Now, this is a new one we haven't talked about. When you pull up to the port, you're going to leave your main suitcases with the porters, and you're not going to see those for several hours. So take with you a small bag that has like your swimsuit, a change of clothes, and maybe some small toiletries so that you can freshen up before dinner in case you don't get your suitcase until after dinner on the first day.
And a big tip is make sure that if you have any medication that you need to take that afternoon or evening, that you're packing that along with you as well. Another mistake is ignoring your cruise app or your daily planner. They're going to tell you all of the fun activities that are available to you that are included in your cruise fare. So pay attention to that. Check out the times that shows are, maybe the trivia, maybe you want to see a comedian. Make sure you check those apps and that daily planner because it's going to tell you everything that you need to know to have fun when you are on the ship.
And if you need a reservation for one of those activities, it's going to tell you on that daily planner, and make sure you make that reservation right away.
And another thing that you're going to have on there is if you're at a port, it's going to tell you who the port agent is. So if you are out on an excursion and something goes wrong, you're going to need that number to call and so that you don't get left behind.
I like to just take a picture of that section on my daily planner in case something happens. Then I've got it on my phone and I know what the number is and who I'm contacting. And don't assume that everything's going to be included on your cruise. There are a lot of extras. Things like the wine tastings that we've done, the video games in the arcade, all of those things cost extra. Sometimes the race car track costs extra or the ropes course. Plan that accordingly. You have an onboard account with NCL or any of the other cruise lines when you go on a cruise, and they're going to attach any charges that you've made during the trip on that account. Make sure to check that account throughout the cruise and especially before the last day because they're going to charge your card and you're going to be gone and not have any recourse if something was wrong.
And don't forget, you may think you have an unlimited drink package, but there's always a cap. On NCL, it tops out at like $15 a drink. So if you order a drink that is more expensive than that, you're going to pay the difference. Or if you're ordering a drink when you're in a port, sometimes port charges and taxes apply. So just be prepared for that. We never really mind those onboard charges. We just are prepared so that we're not surprised at the end of the cruise. Another mistake is assuming that Wi-Fi and phone access will be available when you're out at sea. Now, a lot of cruise lines now are touting that they've got Starlink or upgraded Wi-Fi, but that doesn't mean that your cell phone is actually going to work the way that you're used to it working on land. So if you have to, download some maps, download books, entertainment ahead of time so that you don't get surprised when you're on the ship and wanting to use those things that you're used to and it doesn't work.
Yes, I actually ran into that on our last cruise. I ran through all of the books that I had downloaded, and I had to wait till we got to Bermuda to download another book. And don't over plan your vacation. We all want to do a million things when we're on vacation, but it is a vacation. Cruise lifestyle is supposed to be relaxing. Leave time for naps and for reading and just relaxing. That's what it's supposed to be all about. If you overplan both on the ship or in the port, you are going to get exhausted and harried and not feel like you had a really relaxing vacation. It's going to feel more like a job.
Yeah, we're guilty of this. We overprogram ourselves all the time. When we were planning our 3 days in New York City before this last cruise, we had a pretty packed schedule every single day. And after the first day, we were like, this is way too much. It's super hot. It's super humid. It's a lot of walking, more than what we expected. So we actually made adjustments to our itinerary and cut some things that we had planned for day 2. And we were grateful that we did.
I was really glad we did that.
The next mistake is not exploring the ship on day 1. If you've been on the ship before and you know your way around, you may not take time to explore, but you may be missing out on something new. And if you've never been on the ship before, take the time day 1 to walk around all of the open decks. You're going to find things that you never expected. Maybe it's the quiet library or a reading room. Maybe it's a place to have the kids club. That's always on like a hidden deck. Maybe it is a special bar that you want to go back and revisit. These are the things that you're going to find out only by walking around.
One of the things I like to always explore and find when we're walking around is the ship model.
Yes.
Most ships are going to have a model of them somewhere on the ship, and it's always fun to explore and find that.
And I like on an NCL ship to go out on the waterfront because that's a way for you to walk around and explore that deck. And I definitely need to spend more time there on our next NCL cruise.
And something that we would never skip, but I do hear a lot of travelers not even thinking about it, is travel insurance. You spent a lot of money on this vacation, and without travel insurance, you could get stuck somewhere in a horrible situation. Make sure that the travel insurance that you get meets all of your needs too. You need something that's going to help take care of emergencies and medical problems, as well as a missed ship at a port where you're stuck someplace. You never know what's going to happen, and that travel insurance just gives you peace of mind.
I think it's worth it. A lot of people get kind of like sticker shock. Oh no, I've just spent this much on a cruise and now you're asking me to spend how much more on travel insurance? But just think about how much it would cost you to deal with those problems if you didn't have the insurance. I actually had a river cruise booked for 2020, and when we had to cancel that due to the pandemic, our travel insurance covered everything and we weren't out of pocket for any of those lost costs. Another thing is not being prepared to be seasick or for inclement weather when you're traveling. You need to be prepared for both. You may never get seasick, but it's always a good idea to have some seasickness medication on hand just in case. We've done a couple different things. We'll take like Dramamine or Bonine. We've got the C-bands that are like the acupressure on your wrist, but the thing that we use most often, never fails, is the patch. The scopolamine patch that goes behind your ear. Never had a problem with seasickness since we started using those.
Now, this is something that you have to get from a prescription by your doctor, but I've never had any trouble with my doctor prescribing this for me. At this point, I just text her through my app for my medications, and she will send in a prescription for me, and it's there at the pharmacy and taken care of. I actually have gotten seasick on some excursions that I've been on before I discovered this patch, and I have never had a problem since wearing the patch.
And another thing you need to be prepared for is inclement weather. You need to have like a rain jacket with you. If you want to take an umbrella, take an umbrella, maybe some waterproof shoes, maybe a heavier jacket. Even if you're going to a warm weather destination, it could get cold at night. So take a sweatshirt or a fleece with you so that you're not cold on the ship. So just be prepared for anything that could be coming up along your travels.
And as long as you're prepared and have a good attitude, you're still going to have a great time. When we were in Chesky Krumlov this last spring, it poured on us the entire time, but it was still my favorite destination on that cruise.
Mine too.
And don't skip the free photography on the ship. You're going to see photographers set up all over the ship, and they will take pictures of you and your party and ask for your cruise cabin number. You aren't obligated to buy any of these pictures, but you never know. These might be some of the best pictures you've ever had, and you really do want to splurge on that.
And if they aren't the best pictures, because that has happened to us too many times to say, sometimes they're really, really funny. You don't have to buy them, but it's kind of fun to stop by the photography studio and see how they turned out and have a good laugh.
And one of the newest things in the NCL app was we were able to look at them right on the app.
Yeah, that's true.
That was kind of fun.
And our final cruise mistake is not researching the ports. Make sure you know where you're going. And if you're booking an excursion through the cruise line, that is your safest bet, because if something goes wrong on that excursion, the ship is required to wait for you, but it's often more expensive than booking through a third-party provider or going out and doing something on your own. So don't be afraid of booking through like Viator or Get Your Guide. Those are great options, but just know that you need to do your research.
And some of those options often offer that whole get you back to the ship on time guarantee as well. So look for that. And then you have a little more peace of mind with that. Don't just wing it at a port, or you are going to pay way more for any excursions that you do last minute. So did you get anything out of this video? Hit that like button for us. We'd really appreciate it. And put your tips in the comment section below. We'd love to hear them.
And we do videos every single Sunday, so make sure you subscribe to us and hit that notification bell as well. Thanks so much for spending time with us today. We hope that these tips really help you if you're thinking about booking your first or your next cruise.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Core 4 Adventures.
Bye!
Bye!